Wyjebało mi streama. Tak nie wolno. Dobra, weźmy w takim razie z tego. Z pełnego ekranu. Uj. Może będzie działać lepiej? Nie za bardzo.
Put it in there. Or Kira just takes it with her wherever she goes? Is she a royalist? At the same time this is happening, Tori's getting chewed out by her freaking aunt because she needs to prepare a commemoration speech for the 500th year anniversary of the kingdom, and she basically just doesn't want to do it. She's
chyba jest lepiej.
fucking hard. I can relate to that. This video took me so long to make. And Tori's like known for doing pranks on people, and her aunt is kind of sick of it.
This has your mark all over it. I was willing to overlook the exploding cupcakes at tea and the skunk at the embassy ball.
Honestly, I kind of get why her aunt is frustrated with her. Making cupcakes.
A, to jest taki długi też. Okej.
That's weird. She's got some serious behavioral issues. So Kira and Tori begin to sing a song about how they wish that they had the other person's life.
Ale nie oglądałem chyba tego. Nie kojarzę. No tu już raczej się chyba zaczyna moment, gdzie będzie takie, no nie oglądałem tego, bo ja oglądałem te stare, z tego co kojarzę. Dobra.
I just want to be a pop star. What I love about this song is that most of the audience that'd be watching this movie could not relate to either of their perspective. This song is like the Nepo baby anthem. This is so much worse than the original things that the characters from the Princess wanted. That was just a princess wanting a normal life. And a woman that didn't want to be like abused and live in abject poverty. In this movie, these are two girls wanting a different type of affluence than they already have. They're like, I want to be a different type of rich. Okay. Kira's manager is then seen speaking to her record label where they're saying that she needs to have a new song by next Saturday or they're going to completely drop her from the label. Kind of feels like a bit of an overreaction, but clearly that must mean things are pretty bad for Kira. Has she been doing the same songs for like 10 years? Now at this point it becomes pretty clear that Kreider is the antagonist of this movie. His whole thesis is that he doesn't like working as a manager for Kira and instead wants to become a star because he feels like he missed out on that in his youth and that he needs a lot of money to fund his restart of a career as a performer. This is also kind of a ridiculous position to have. Kira is clearly a really successful pop star and managers usually take 10 to 20% of their clients' gross income as a fee. So Kreider could potentially be making millions of dollars.
If only somehow I had the means to restart my career. All I need is one lucky break. Or a rich widow.
No, dude. You do not need a rich widow. You're already rich. If the Princess of the Kingdom's a stan of your client, you gotta be raking in bills, son. That's a sold-out 20,000-seat stadium right there. They're all watching her. Not to mention touring and merch. You don't need to manipulate a rich widow, Kreider. So Kreider begins to manipulate Tori's widowed aunt at a party. While this is happening, we hear this conversation going on.
And this drought has been hard on the entire region. Our reservoirs are only 30% of normal, and our vineyards are withering.
We got some info here on the monarchy thing. So a couple of royally dressed heads of state are talking about how there's a drought going on in the region. So we can assume there's multiple monarchies. And they're talking like this drought has a direct impact on their job. Possible absolute monarchy going on here right now. Also pretty fucked up that they're having these fancy parties while the kingdom's suffering from a drought. That's not a good look. I'm starting to feel a little French right now, if you know what I mean. Like, bonjour, bourgeoisie. Kira and Tori meet at this ball as well, and Tori decides to show Kira her room.
There's more me in here than in my house. Your guitar, your albums, most of your fashion line. I wore this in my first music video. It's still my very favorite.
I się zamienią, nie?
This is where we find out Kira and Tori both have a magical item. For seemingly no reason other than they just have them. Kira has a magical microphone that allows her to change outfits, and Tori has a magical hairbrush that allows her to change hair. In showing off their magical items to each other, they realize that they look pretty similar to each other. And just like in the earlier story, Tori gets the idea to pretend to be each other for a little bit to experience what it's like. Princess that's being shoved away from the real world brings you to a room covered in posters of you and then turns to you and goes, I'm your biggest fan of all time, Kira. Let's switch lives. I'd be thinking to myself, this is where I will die and no one will know. Tori shows Kira around the castle and decides to show Kira her kingdom's biggest secret of all time, which is a secret room that contains a garden with a diamond bush in it that's taken care of by fairies. Apparently this diamond plant's been growing for like 500 years and the general population doesn't know about it.
It blooms just once every 5 years. Its diamonds help me for schools and, you know, stuff.
Huh? Stuff? What sort of stuff, Tori? Kind of feels like she mentioned schools for the optics there. So the aunt catches Tori while she's perusing the castle at the same time with Kreider, and she's like, what the fuck are you doing? Showing our family secrets to someone you just met? And this is when Kreider catches a look at the diamond plan, and he's like, money, give me that money. And the next day, Kiera and Tori decide to enact their plan of switching lives and spending the whole day as each other. Of course, this requires a rehash of a song from The Princess and the Pauper where Tori is teaching Kiera how to be a princess. So there's a whole montage with each of the girls operating in each other's places. Tori's learning choreography for Kiera's concert. I'm not sure what Kiera is going to do when she comes back from pretending to be Tori, and she just doesn't know the choreography she learned that same day. Like, what is she gonna say? Sorry guys, I forgot. What do you mean? You learned it today. And Kiera's off flirting with a prince, and they're having ice cream dates. And then kind of out of nowhere, we get some information on how this...
Okej, instaluję OBS-a jakby co.
And Tori decides to go on a walk dressed as Kiera. She ends up in this area where the roads are not even paved, and these little girls inform her that they want to go to Kiera's concert, but they can't afford to because of the drought in the kingdom and their parents not being able to afford anything. Tori is completely unaware that the drought is even still going on.
Drought? Is that still going on?
Dobra, niby się zainstalowało, niby jest.
What? That's still happening?
Też się zainstalowało VLC Media od razu. OBS appears to be running in...
Diamond plant that nobody knows about. I can feel myself getting Frencher.
OBS appears to be running inside a Chrome OS container, but this platform is unsupported.
Maybe we should shave some of that off, Tori. However, after Kiera and Tori FaceTime, Kiera
So yeah,
decides to just
I don't
make
like
herself
that.
free that night, so everything's
As you
okay.
can see.
At this point, Kreider's going completely rogue because of this diamond plant. He's ditched the widowed on idea, and he's totally blown up his relationship with Kiera's label before he's actually even acquired the diamond plant. And his idea is that he's gonna go steal it from the castle while Kiera's concert's
stworzyło mi...
because I guess a lot of the royal...
Gówno OS moment, dokładnie. Stworzyło mi normalnie wirtualną maszynę, która po prostu ma dużo limitacji, nie? No to jest niby napisane, że używaj na urządzeniu Chromebook narzędzi, edytorów i IDE na Linuxa, nie? Więc takie rzeczy jak Visual Studio Code i te sprawy pora na Fedorę. No, też tak myślę. Trzeba będzie ogarnąć. Ok, czyli tutaj mogę sobie... jak chcę wyjść, to tutaj, dobra. Wyłącz, uruchom ponownie, wyloguj się, zablokuj. Ok. No dobra, ale będę chciał jeszcze pokazać. To dajcie mi sekundę, akurat tak zatrzymaliśmy. To przejdźmy tutaj sobie. I look at that. Mamy Pineapple Apple Pen naładowany. Tu się zaświeciło na zielono. Znaczy, że jest aktywowany, jest uruchomiony. Działa ładnie. No, prawie ładnie. Dobra, otwórz notatkę. Pomiń prezentację. Zamknij. Ale działa dobrze. Działa good. To teraz, w teorii, powinienem móc zrobić coś takiego. Ok, klawiatura i tutaj wszystko się... Tak, wyłączyło się. I się przełączył jakby na tryb tabletu, coś takiego. Ok, założmy rękawiczkę. Zobaczmy. Nie pomoże. Rękawiczka nie pomoże. Nie. Czyli muszę trzymać odstęp. Ewentualnie trzymać tutaj. No, nie jest to takie piękne, jakbym chciał. Oczywiście jak robię duże napisy na przykład, czyli przejdźmy sobie tutaj. O, i tutaj jak zacznę pisać, no to też nie jest takie piękne. Czyli normalnie jak bym na tablecie pracował, co nie? Takim zwykłym, nie takim na przykład iPadzie czy coś, który ma specjalnie przystosowane ekran dotykowy, żeby działał właśnie z Pineapple Apple Pen. Tak ładnie, że można pisać, robić notatki i te sprawy. Czyli na przykład, nie wiem... no coś tam można, ale nie jest to jakoś... Aby przejść na główny ekran, przesuń w górę. Okej. A, no i się serio zrobiło taki mocny tryb tabletu. Ja. Spoko, fajna opcja. Obis opinia i mi wyskakuje właśnie error, jak chcę włączyć OBS-a czy coś tego typu. Vim odpalił się normalnie. Ok, mogę sobie tak fajnie przełączyć. Ok, i mamy jeszcze VLC Media. Ok, i odpala. Wszystko fajnie. Mogę sobie tu na przykład coś puścić, żeby mi leciało w okienku i coś innego robić. Czy mogę tak samo z innymi aplikacjami? Na to wychodzi. Ja. Aby wrócić, aha. Okej, takie buty. No spoko. Czemu będąc na moim głównym kanale pokazuje mi tak bardzo inne rzeczy niż to, co mam na przykład na swoim komputerze? Na przykład takie gówno mi pokazuje, nie? How an erection works. Ja pierdolę. Bez przesady. Jakby nie żeby coś, ale ja nie oglądam żadnych kumerskich rzeczy, nie? Tutaj mi tylko kumerskie rzeczy puszcza. Okej. No dobra, i mogę sobie na przykład nie wiem, włączyć Chroma i teraz Chrome sobie działa w taki sposób. Aha, i się przełączyło. Tak to działa. Podziel. Mhm. No spoko. No fajnie to działa nawet, ale jednak wiem, że będę chciał potestować, zainstalować tą Fedorę i zobaczyć, jak to będzie działać. Ja. Dokładnie. Tak jak Albert napisałeś, pora na Fedorę. Więc będziemy się... O Jezus Maria. Jak napisałeś, Albert, trzeba będzie zainstalować. Jutro się z tym pobawię. A na razie wyłączmy. Jezu, to wyłączenie, jakie to było dziwne. Okej, i tutaj się świeci na niebiesko teraz i to rozumiem, że jest naładowany i mogę go odłączyć. Okej, no dobra. Spoko, fajnie. Więc jak na razie powiem tak. Wrażenia są spoko, jest fajnie, ale zainstalujemy Fedorę i dopiero wtedy będziemy testować i będziemy się bawić. Więc Więc zobaczymy jutro. Też w ogóle, czy uda mi się zainstalować Fedorę. Myślę, że nie powinno być problemu, ale różnie bywa. Dobra, to skoro tak, to przejdźmy z powrotem na tą scenę i oglądamy dalej. Nawet godziny nie wbiliśmy, ale jesteśmy w połowie. Więc let's go.
While hanging out with Tori's sisters, Kiera gets a random boost of inspiration, seemingly from her experience just hanging out as a princess. I guess she realizes she doesn't need to live in a fancy castle to be happy, and they're riding beds through the sky and stuff. But Tori did not write her commencement speech, unsurprisingly, before she met Kiera. So her aunt shows up, and she's fucking pissed, and locks Kiera in a room, so Kiera can't get to the concert and switch back with Tori, and cannot get a hold of Tori, because she kinda just left her phone somewhere. They don't even really explain a reason why she left her phone somewhere. She's just like, I lost it.
Where is she, Riff? Something's wrong. And where's my phone?
So basically, Tori's screwed because the concert's starting and Kiera is expected on stage, and it gets to the point where she just straight up has to perform. She's a little bit nervous at first, but then she gains some confidence through the power of playing on an acoustic guitar, and all of a sudden, she's off to the races, and she's doing pretty good. Same time this is happening, Kreider and his henchmen manage to get into the secret room. They gas the shit out of the fairies with hairspray. It's actually kind of fucked up. And cut the diamond plant off its roots, and immediately, all of the plant life in Mirabella starts to die. Tori realizes what's going on, and she has to ditch the concert to run to the castle.
Now, a brief intermission. Sing amongst yourselves.
What the fuck? Don't throw a metal microphone into the audience, Tori. Yeah. Holy shit, he's dead. So Tori rushes to the castle. Kiera finds a secret passageway out of Tori's room, and they both confront Kreider as he's trying to escape the castle. They begin to fight it out, and when Kreider realizes he's not going to get away easily, he jumps off a cliff and has a wingsuit out of nowhere. But then Kiera changes his outfit, and he basically gets defeated because now he's floating like Princess Peach in Smash Bros. And the diamond plant falls off the cliff, and they're like, no, the plant's dead. Kingdom's doomed, no. But then they planted some diamonds they had left over, and the plant grows back to full size. Wasn't that thing growing for 500 years? Why did it grow back in like 5 seconds? So now the evil is defeated, and the girls rush back to the concert. And they both get up on stage, and they're singing together, and it's a happy ending on the concert side of things. On the societal side of things, because of Tori's experience in like the slums of Mirabella, she decides to enact some changes.
And besides updating Mirabella's irrigation systems against future droughts, we are also establishing a social services program for our kingdom's needy.
So you didn't have that before? You didn't have any of that? No social services? I guess I'm not that surprised. I mean, the roads in practically downtown Mirabella are not paved. Children are living in poverty while they have a diamond plant. And what's great about this moment is it actually confirms that Mirabella is an absolute government monarchy, because the princess is announcing these changes, which means it's coming from the royal family. Overall, this movie is like Taylor Swift doing the Eras Tour in Saudi Arabia. So here are my ratings. I would say Barbie and her counterpart are pretty hard to relate to in this movie. They're basically just privileged people who want to be a different kind of rich. rich, and they make really weird choices like forgetting her phone when she's disguised as another person. Other than that, they're not too bad, so 3 out of 5. The story was weird because it almost followed the original Princess and the Pauper storyline with the rich widow angle similar to Preminger. But then it goes off the rails and he starts trying to steal a diamond plant. It's pretty middle of the road, especially because it's based off a previously good Barbie movie, so 2 out of 5. I could not for the life of me tell you what the moral of the story of this movie is, other than just like taking on your responsibilities and not complaining about wanting to be a different type of rich. The quote wasn't even any sort of statement from Barbie either. It's just, there's a star that's inside you, so come on and let it out. Find out what you're about and just shout, here I am. Which is definitely a song lyric, so 0 out of 5. Both Kira and Tori had dogs. Kira had a Mohawk bulldog and Tori had a crusty little white dog. But they didn't really offer much to the story other than just kind of being there. So 3 out of 5. So overall, this movie gets an 8 out of 20 little Barbie.
Wow.
Now let's keep going. All right, next up is Barbie in a pink shoes. Let's do this freaking thing. Let's go. This Barbie movie is sort of a send-off of sorts to the era of Barbie movies based on fairy tales and folklore, and in doing so, ends up being the weirdest combination of all of them. We start off with a ballerina named Kristen. Her teacher hates her, and she gets some magical shoes that transport her to a ballerina dimension. Everybody's dancing in ballerina town, and then this ice lady shows up, and she's really creepy and is forcing people to dance like an asshole. And there's references to a bunch of different fairy tales, some of which Barbie has already covered. It's really weird, but she comes back to the real world and does like a good dance, and she wins. I guess she wins the dance. Like a 3 out of 5. Barbie's kind of basic in this one too, so 3 out of 5. There's not
A też
a
jest
sidekick in this
zmienili
one, so 0 out of
wygląd.
5. And the moral is, listen to the beat of your heart and keep on dancing. I think this works with the story of being yourself in this, so 4 out of 5. Overall, Pink Shoes gets a 10 out of 20. Well, Mariposa and the Fairy Princess. Okay, here we go. Okay, we're back in the Fairytopia universe for, I think, the 5th time. Maripoopoo is back. And this time, she's employing herself in diplomacy and fixing racism. Because she's got to
Ale tutaj fajnie wygląda.
butterfly fairies to the crystal fairies
Tak ją fajnie
because
zrobili.
these guys have been feuding with each other for like 100 years. Overall, though, I think this story was a cool expansion, again, on the Fairytopia world. I think I enjoyed watching it, so 4 out of 5. Barbie's character in this is great. I actually like Mariposa. She's just trying to get everyone to get along. I'd give her a 4 out of 5. We're running into problems here with the sidekicks again, though, let me tell you. You know why? Because we're introduced to possibly an even worse Bibble, because this Bibble is named Z, and he's a fucking ball with a tooth. Mary Peepaw didn't even have a puffball in the last movie. He just shows up, meaning the writers retconned a puffball into the story because apparently they thought it would elevate it. These puffballs are like the minions of the Barbie universe. What demographic of the general population is so obsessed with these little cherubs that don't speak English that they keep getting added to these stories? I will never know. 0 out of 5. And the moral is, the best way to make a friend is to be a friend. Duh. You think that people are making friends going around being an enemy? Weird moral, brother. Weird. 2 out of 5. Overall, Mariposa 2 gets a 10 out of 20.
Something deep inside my soul is stirring, and I don't know what's happening.
Next up, Barbie and her sisters in Ponytown. Here we go. Barbie and her sisters are back in the canon universe, and this movie's about horses and ponies. They're in the Swiss Alps for the summer because their Aunt Marlene owns a riding academy. So you got 3 sisters learning to ride horses and eventually compete in a tournament for money because another Aunt, Barbie, has a failing business that she is tasked with saving. This movie, though, is mostly about Barbie and her discovery of a super rare horse.
Tu znowu ma niebieskie oczy, okej. Nie, bardziej mi się podobało jak ma te brązowe w tym poprzednim filmie.
Barbie almost had canon death in this moment. There's an evil French horse rider guy who's abusive to horses. Stacy's horse fucking hates her guts. And they even have something worse than horse girl, horse boys.
Look, Alpine has a new trick rider. What do you call that move? The mud dive?
I'd probably give the story a 3 out of 5. Barbie in this movie was pretty solid. I think she had a good progression of her character in originally wanting to take this extremely rare horse from the Swiss Alps back to Malibu, but then chose to have it stay with its herd. I'd give her a 4 out of 5. I'd say the most prominent sidekick was the sexy horse, and this thing could fight wolves, which was pretty badass, but also got trapped under a boulder somehow, so 3 out of 5. And the moral is, if you love something, set it free. This matches the story, but it's also not super creative, so 3 out of 5. Overall, Barbie and her sisters in a ponytail gets a 13 out of 20.
I'm sitting here, and I'm about to watch Barbie and the Pearl Princess. I really am. I had all the intention in the world, and I've got the controller in my hand, and my finger is hovering over the buy movie thing, and I just can't. I can't. I've watched 10 Barbie movies today. I've got neighbors. They're probably looking in through the window saying, this is the ideal image in a sadist mind of a broken man. I feel like I'm studying for a test, this is someone who is completely lost their way. I don't fully know what's even going on here. Who is this woman? Is she an actress? Or is she, as I just saw in the last movie, a horse-riding prodigy that can speak to fucking magical horses with sexy long flowing hair that can jump so high they can fly? And this is canon Barb. Shit's not adding up here, Blondie. There's multiple films where they have to assemble a fucking super weapon in order to beat the man.
Jezus.
A Barbie equivalent weapon.
On już ma dość.
Oh, you want to kill that guy? Well, you gotta go on this journey, and you gotta get 3 things.
A tu jeszcze tyle zostało.
Greatest fears, 2, a teardrop
On ma
from a
dość.
mermaid, and 3, what you've been looking for inside. In order to build this scepter of truth in order to defeat Boxclaw. Yeah, Boxclaw. That's a Barbie movie name right there. Oh, Boxclaw. I'm so fucking done. Listen, I have watched 26 Barbie movies, one after the other. Just Barbie movie, Barbie movie, Barbie movie, Barbie movie. There's 15 more Barbie movies to go. One of them's only half an hour long, so I'm not too worried about that one. I'm going to bed right now. I will see you guys tomorrow for the 4th day in a row of watching every Barbie movie ever made. All right, we've got a lot to go over, so buckle up, kiddos. These up here are the movies that Barbie acts in. And these are the movies where I got a ridiculous amount of lore because Barbie plays herself in them. And things are getting weirder, let me tell ya. So let's set this up. Give me a second. In Fashion Fairy Tale, we get a whole lot of information. Firstly, Barbie has an aunt that lives in Paris, France, named Aunt Millicent, and she is proficient in fashion design. On top of that, we get a direct verbal reference from Barbie to one of her earlier films where she talks about working on the Three Musketeers. And we know this. Barbie is an actress. That's well established. But this is even more significant because we've got Barbie making reference across eras to another Barbie film. Also, we get more confirmation that magic is real because fairies are canon in the Barbie universe. Also, Raquel changed her hair to brunette. I don't know why. In Fairy Secret, there's a whole lot of bullshit that becomes canon. The fairy dimension of Los Angeles. Huh? Fairies, the size of humans. Pegaponies. They're Pegasus, but we need to clarify that it is a pony version of Pegasus, apparently. In Barbie: A Perfect Christmas, we are introduced to Skipper, who is the 3rd oldest sister in Barbie's family, putting Barbie's immediate family unit now to a total of 4. But then, more shockingly, Chelsea shows up, as if she's always been there. This girl is supposed to be Kelly, but everyone's calling her Chelsea as if that's always been who she is. Am I smoking weed? What's going on there, Barbie, huh? What's going on there, Barbie? And I'm not saying I'm a huge fan of Kelly, don't get me wrong. I'm not like a Kelly super fan, but I'd at least like some transparency from Barbie if she killed her sister and replaced her with another girl called Chelsea. That seems like something that the people should know about. Of course, this wouldn't be a problem at all if Skipper didn't directly reference the fashion show that Barbie did for Aunt Millicent, of which in that movie, Barbie makes a direct verbal reference to the acting that she did in The Three Musketeers, which connects to the classic era of Barbie movies, the last time we saw Kelly, leading me to believe with some degree of confidence that Kelly exists in the same continuity as Chelsea. Do you understand why that's a problem? Finally, in Barbie and her sisters in a ponytail,
A może jest po prostu tak dużo sióstr?
Aunt Marlene, and she owns a horseback riding academy in the Swiss Alps. And it's mentioned in this movie that Barbie is one of the most accomplished horseback riders on the West Coast, so she's got that going for her too. And finally, it is the first movie to actually mention Barbie and her sister's last name, Roberts. And let me just say, I'm on to you, Barbie Roberts. Until tomorrow. Welcome to day 4. Last night when I was sleeping, I had a dream. The full details of the dream, obviously I can't remember, but one thing I do know is that I had 3 animal friends and they could speak English. Today we are starting the 27th Barbie movie. There's 4 more in the modern plot era. And then we'll be entering the era where Mattel ended the home video releases and then eventually just started releasing their Barbie movies on Netflix. I can't take this off. I've tried. I went to bed with a shirt on and I woke up with this on. So let's just jump right into day 4. Here we go. Next up is Barbie the Pearl Princess. Let's do it. Okay, there's more mermaids this time, but it's a whole different set of mermaids. It's different mermaids. Barbie's character is a mermaid named Lumina who can do pearl magic, which is like using pearls, and it's just magic. There's not too much to say about this movie. It's another scenario where she's actually a princess that was stolen at birth, and the villain wants his son to be on the throne, usurping the throne. We know how this works. Her adoptive mother is this old lady mermaid who's actually like a really accomplished assassin. She's the villain's go-to person for poison, so I think she's killed a lot of people. She might be a terrorist, but it all works out in the end. This one also, in terms of story, felt a little rushed with all of the beats. I'd give it a 3 out of 5. I think I enjoyed Barbie's character in this movie, so I'll give her a 4 out of 5. The sidekicks were pretty strong in this one. Barbie's sidekick is a seahorse named Cuda, but what I really liked is this incredibly nefarious villain sidekick named Murphy, who's a creepy eel. He kind of looks like a troll face, so 5 out of 5 for that creepy eel, dude.
What is up with that guy? The moral is always leave things better than you found them. I don't totally know what this is referencing in the story, so 2 out of 5. Overall, this movie gets a 14 out of 20.
Barbie got some secret entrances this time because it's Barbie in the secret door.
Barbie's character is a princess again named Alexa. She doesn't like being a princess. She sings a whole song about how she wishes that she also had magic, which is like, come on, dude, you want guns for eyes too? You're a princess. Just buy what you want. Also, they live in this castle, but there's also like Manhattan behind it. So I think this is another world where monarchy rules modern societies. Anyway, she finds a secret door, goes to like Dr. Seuss's dimension, where there's this evil little girl who's trying to take everyone's magic, so she's hunting down fairies and mermaids. And she's got these guys that like to sniff. Yes, they are called sniffers. She finds her courage, she wins, something about the power of friendship, I guess. But the world and universe was slightly unique, and there was good character design, so 4 out of 5. Can't say I'm the biggest fan of Barbie's character in this because of the fact that she's a princess singing a whole song bummed about the fact that she doesn't have magic, so 2 out of 5. Not too much of a clear sidekick in this one either. Maybe those sniffer guys, I'd maybe give them a 2 out of 5. And the moral is, you never know what you can do unless you try. I personally actually like this moral, and I believe in the sentiment behind it, so 4 out of 5. Overall, Secret Door gets a 12 out of 20.
Next up is Barbie and Princess Power. I have no idea what this is going to be.
This movie is where the writers for Barbie just started going off the rails a little bit. I did not think this would be a movie I would see from Barbie, but here we are. Barbie stars as a princess that dresses like she was plucked out of iCarly, and she's got these 2 little nerd friends that make gadgets for her. There's an evil advisor. He's trying to make a super serum. It goes down the drain. Like literally, it goes down the drain. Ends up on a butterfly. Butterfly gives her a kiss. She goes into an ego death level K-hole and wakes up, and now she's got superpowers. So now she's going around doing crime fighting, throwing police cars at people, doing petty theft, which is extreme. There's also a strange amount of chain reactions that happen in this movie.
By the way, jakie low poly był ten samochód.
But then the advisor guy makes himself some more serum, and he's trying to just straight up kill everyone. He tries to kill a whole city with a volcano. But then he gets his butt kicked, and then Barbie's character makes a community garden. This story was kind of painful. 2 out of 5. I also just didn't like Barbie in this, so 2 out of 5. In terms of sidekicks, Barbie's got a dog, yeah. But there's this little frog the advisor has, and he's kind of like a nutcase. So 4 out of 5. And the moral is, the power to change the world has been inside you all along. Which is true, as long as you get a drug that gives you superpowers and also you're a princess. Give me a break, dog. 1 out of 5. Overall, Barbie and Princess Power gets a 9 out of 20. This was a bad Barbie movie.
Next up is Barbie and Rockin' Royals. And play.
What we have here with this movie is Barbie Camp Rock plus royalty also. Let me explain. Barbie's character is a princess. She's going to camp for royalty, I guess. But they mixed up the list and she's forced to go to Camp Pop against her will. I think based on the dates of when this came out, it's a mixture between Camp Rock and Pitch Perfect because you got the pop kids doing pop music and then the royals are doing a cappella. It's a really weird summer camp type story with a lot of music and culminates in a sing-off between the 2 camps with the real estate of the losing camp on the line, which is like, don't put this on the campers. Why are we doing this? There's a lot of similarities to the vibes from Princess and the Pop Star, and while it's ridiculous, it was interesting and there was character growth. I'll give this story a 4 out of 5. I think I'd give Barbie's character in this a 4 out of 5 as well. She was pretty resourceful and able to unite the 2 camps.
Jedi Mind Trick, kurwa. To był Jedi Mind Trick, bez kitu.
Story a 4 out of 5. I think I'd give Barbie's character in this a 4 out of 5 as well.
Jedi Mind Trick. Wysoka ocena, kurwa. Jep. Perfect. Perfect montaż.
There isn't any sidekicks really in this one, so as we know,
Kocham normalnie.
and the moral is rock your own story. I don't know what the fuck this is even supposed to mean. 1 out of 5. Overall, Barbie Rockin' Royals gets a 9 out of 20.
Next up is Barbie and her sisters in a Great Puppy Adventure. Play.
This movie is a huge lore drop for Barbie lore, but at its core, it's basically a watered-down Scooby-Doo story. Barbie and her 3 sisters travel to her hometown of Willows, Wisconsin to stay with their grandmother during the summer. The grandmother's dog just had 4 puppies, so all the girls get their own dog. And they find an old treasure map in the attic that leads them on a hunt for treasure that was buried by the town's founders. They're running all over town, doing riddles and puzzles with the puppies, and are also being pursued by this pair of evil carnival guys that also want the treasure. And they end up finding the treasure, and they donate most of it to the city to help it prosper. It honestly was a little boring of a movie. I'd give this story maybe a 3 out of 5. This new era of Barbie is starting to piss me off a little bit, mostly because when they found the treasure, they got a finder's fee, which by my estimation could be at least 40 pounds of gold, which is worth over $1 million, and they buried buried it to give the town hope, but they just found like $500 million worth of treasure and gave it to the... Why do they need to make more hope? 1 out of 5 for Barbie. The sidekicks are the puppies named Honey, Rookie, DJ, and Taffy. I'd probably give them a 3 out of 5. And this movie had no moral at the end, like no little quote to go off of. But in the official description, it says that the girls discover that the greatest treasure of all is the love and laughter they share as sisters, which is nice and all, but don't bury your finder's fee. Put it in a trust for your sisters, Barbie. 1 out of 5. Overall, this movie gets an 8 out of 20.
I'm interested in this. Barbie and Spy Squad is next. Alright, here we go.
Things are getting worse with Barbie Spy Squad, let me tell you. Okay, so Barbie and her friends are doing gymnastics. They're trying to qualify for the championship.
Oh, wow.
And after Barbie's friend's aunt takes them to the Hollywood sign, which is revealed to be a secret spy base. Her friend's aunt is a spy and secretly British, and she wants Barbie and her friends, a group of high school students who are good at gymnastics, to become international spies to catch this cat burglar that stole a gem. It leads them on this whole journey. There's a guy that works there that's actually the villain and betrays everyone. He's going for world domination. He ends up going to jail. But at the end of the day, I will never understand why this aunt thought it made sense to bring these untrained high school girls into a life of death, poison, assassination, and also death again. Like, why would you do that? 2 out of 5. Barbie's fine in this middle of the road. You know that means she gets a 3 out of 5. The most notable sidekick is this floating robot cat thing that works for the British aunt. I'd probably give this little rascal a 3 out of 5. And the moral at the end is, this is our story. What's yours? Kind of a rude quote. 1 out of 5. Overall, Barbie Spy Squad gets a 9 out of 20.
A little worried about this, but next up is Barbie Starlight Adventure.
Oh shit.
I don't know what to say. Other than that, I am shocked. I have to figure out how this shit could possibly be canon because Barbie, you're making it tough. Basically, this is a story about Barbie on a mission to stop the heat death of the universe. That's right. This movie opens with narration explaining that the stars are going out and there is only one person destined to save the universe. And apparently, that's Barbie. It starts off on what I think might be another planet. She's called to service by some galactic king. They have to find this alien creature that will let them travel through a magnetic storm to the center of the universe. Also, she can use the Force. And also, she has a dad. And at the end of the story, she manages to reverse the heat death of the universe by dancing. Has a magical girl transformation into a new dress. And she's made princess by the king in the end. This movie was insane. It creates a lot of problems for me too. But I was invested, so 4 out of 5. Barbie made a weird choice in this movie where she assumed the king was going to need that alien for his zoo and let it free, which sort of messed up the plans to save the universe for a second, so I'll give her a 2 out of 5. The sidekick was this alien creature named Popcorn, who later on turned into a cat. This thing kind of creeps me out, so 2 out of 5. And the moral at the end is, you can be anything. I don't know, I mean, I guess, yeah. 4 out of 5. Overall, Barbie Starlight Adventure gets a 12 out of 20, and I am stressed.
Alright, next up is Barbie and her sisters in a puppy chase. Here we go.
Over the course of watching these movies, I have been confused, shocked, and even delighted by Barbie's character. But no movie has created more frustration for me than number 34, Barbie and her sisters in a puppy chase. It could be because I was losing my sanity after watching 15 years worth of Barbie films, but in watching this movie, I could actually feel myself getting angry at a fictional character, which is a troubling place to find oneself. So let's talk about it. The movie opens up with Barbie and her sisters flying into Hawaii for a dance tournament that Chelsea is competing in. They're also joined by the puppies that they adopted in this Netflix era of the BCU. When they land, Barbie's sisters all express things that they're excited to do on this trip to Hawaii. Skipper is excited to relax and just utilize the hotel Wi-Fi. Stacy is excited to do a bunch of activities like snorkeling. And most notably, Chelsea is focused on practicing so she can prepare for her dance competition tomorrow, which I emphasize is the reason they are in Hawaii in the first place. Barbie immediately brushes all of these things off and decides that it's a good idea to take her sisters on a quick road trip.
Now let's go see the surprise. Like when? Like right now. Who's ready for a quick road trip?
And Chelsea rightfully immediately calls this out.
I have to get to the hotel to start practicing. We're here for my dance competition, remember?
But Barbie kind of disregards this.
Chelsea, stop worrying. You'll be fine.
If they're traveling to Hawaii for a dance competition, I feel like that must mean that it's a pretty big deal. So why is Barbie like, no, you'll be fine. We're going on a road trip. And Barbie means that they're going on the road trip now. They're not even going to stop at the hotel. So they go and rent a car, and lo and behold, Barbie has not made a reservation for a rental car, and the best thing that they can get is a golf cart. There is no plan, at least not one that has been shared with any of her sisters in any capacity. And it doesn't seem like Barbie has figured out what the plan is either. The destination that they're headed to is called Banyan Tree Park, and while they're on the road there, they instantly run out of reception, and Barbie is driving questionably.
Here, let me see.
Just slow down around the turn, dude. She didn't even apologize. She just kept driving like it was normal. So without cell phone service, Barbie says that they can go old school and just use a map, but this map is almost instantly lost by one of the sisters.
Maybe we should just turn around and head back to the hotel.
Relax. It's a small island. It can't be that hard to find.
No, it's not. It's Hawaii. The biggest island there is twice the size of Delaware. You also don't live here. This is a new place to you, Barbie. Eventually, Barbie and her sisters show up at the park, and Barbie's big surprise is a dancing horse festival.
Are those dancing horses?
Surprise!
Cool! What a great surprise, Barbie!
I knew you guys would like it.
So you just ignore all of the plans and worries that your sisters have because you know best? Kind of feels like you did this for you, Barbie. Kind of feels like you wanted to go to the horse festival. Barbie also lets the puppies run around on their own unsupervised while they watch the show. And I don't care if they can talk. Don't do that. They're puppies, bro. They don't know where to pee yet. And you're sending them off into the jungle? And as they're watching the show, Barbie kind of gets on Chelsea's case about practicing for her dance routine.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Chelsea, you're missing everything.
I'm working on my routine.
You don't have to practice every minute.
Chelsea, shut the fuck up about your dance competition. I'm trying to watch the horsies. But my dance competition is tomorrow. Shut the fuck up. So at the same time that Barbie and her sisters are watching the horse show, the puppies predictably get sidetracked and end up inside of a horse trailer. And the girls watch the entirety of the show until the horse trainers are packed up and are actively leaving, with the puppies inside the trailer. And that's the moment that they realize they haven't checked on where they are.
There they are! Hey, wait up!
So they pile into the golf cart to chase after the horse trainers, and Barbie thinks to herself, what if I did something really risky that would save me maybe 5 seconds? And she tries to drive through an opening in the banyan tree.
We're not gonna make it!
Sure we will, I think.
Great! We're stuck!
What did Barbie think the time save of a risky maneuver like that would do for them? Did they need to catch up to the car that fast? Like, what were they gonna do? They're gonna ram into the side of the horse trailer? The puppies are inside.
O kurwa.
And now the golf
Oh, wow.
is stuck in this tree, and they're just giving up on this rental. They don't even try to push it out. It's a lost cause, apparently. And according to Barbie, it's already getting late, so the best thing for them to do is to stay in place and hike back to the hotel in the morning.
You know, it's not every day you can camp under the island stars.
What a strange spin to put on this. That's not the problem, Barbie. I'm sure that she's trying to look on the brighter side of things, but she says this with an energy as if her saying it makes everything better. That's just ignoring the actual problem so her sister stopped complaining. That's like getting in a car crash and then having to trade insurance with the person you hit and being like, well, it's not every day that you get to make a new friend. Luckily for the Roberts, the rental car agency happened to leave them blankets and water, and Stacy was also carrying about 8,000 calories worth of protein bars, so they'll probably survive. And to keep morale up, Barbie has her sisters play a game where they imagine if they weren't in this situation.
We'd say, what if? Then imagine something super amazing. This is a great time for the imagination game.
This feels a little bit manipulative at this point. Guys, listen, I know this situation sucks, and it's kind of totally my fault, but what if we had a giant pink van with a water slide? Whoa! No way! That's... Yeah, so we're sleeping in the dirt tonight for real, though. So they sleep in the jungle, and then things get even worse because it actually begins to rain, so they all have to sleep in the golf cart in the tree the whole night, and when they wake up, they only have 12 hours until Chelsea's competition. But first, they have to go get the puppies at the beach that apparently the horse trainers went to. So Barbie's like, okay, let's go to the main road and call for help. But unfortunately for them,
We should be able to call for help from the main road.
The road's washed out.
washed out. What are you talking about? The road is destroyed. Washed out is an understatement. That is gone from the earth. I don't even know what could have done this. Did a rock slide come through? And instead of trying to find their way around to the other side so they can keep going, Barbie decides to enter the woods.
There has to be another way out. There!
We're going to hike that?
Why not?
So now Barbie and her sisters are climbing up a mountain, which she continues to downplay.
We just have to get over the top. Piece of cake.
They're now climbing up rock walls, where she makes all of her sisters go first instead of making sure it's safe herself. Also, why is this a better and safer option than just trying to navigate the washed out road? That remains a mystery to me. And then they eventually get to a cliff.
How are we going to get over there?
Well, I don't see an elevator or anything. Maybe we can find another vine or something.
Down that cliff?
Yep.
And we're having fun too, aren't we? She keeps choosing actively worse scenarios when there were previously viable options. It's starting to feel like she's trying to make things work. They eventually discover an abandoned zip line, and Barbie barely tries to prevent her sister from just going for it and risking her life over this canyon.
Shouldn't we do some kind of safety check first?
Yup, and I'm on it. Woohoo!
I like to imagine a world where Stacy just fucking dies in the scenario. Like she just plummets down that canyon. They eventually reach this village where they manage to rent a big camper van, even after admitting that they ditched their last rental. But this is great. Barbie and her sisters can finally go get the puppies. And Chelsea can go do her competition, thank God. Wrong. They get lost for what appears to be hours, just driving around unable to find their way to strangely happy music, passing the rental agent multiple times, and Barbie just doesn't ask for directions. This goes on to the point where they just run out of gas.
How can we be out of gas? Didn't you check?
Hey, the camper got us this far.
Complete deflection of the problem. She didn't even answer the question. Hey man, camper had a mind of its own. You know, we should be grateful the camper got us this far. It's actually only the second vehicle that we've used on this 2-day trip. Despite this, they actually found the horse trainers. So what do? They ditch the rental in the middle of the road. Look at them walk away. They don't even care. Now, the whole time this is all going on, the B story is just the antics of the puppies and the horses and this one show dog poodle. Nothing really important happens with them, but when the girls show up at the beach, the puppies are off like playing on a beach somewhere, so they don't know where they are. And this is when Chelsea just lays into Barbie. And she's right the whole time.
We'll get you there.
You keep saying that.
Yup.
Under a tree?
Uh-huh.
On a zip line?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
In a camper without gas?
Uh-huh.
No matter what happens, you keep saying everything's going to be fine.
Tell him.
But it is going to be fine.
Boo. Fuck you. Boo.
But what if it isn't?
But Master Manipulator Barbie decides to play a game with Chelsea where they make up scenarios that would be worse.
What if a giant submarine comes out of the water right now and the captain tells you you have to live underwater from now on?
Listen, Chelsea. Hey, man, I know this situation sucks. But, you know, you could always get kidnapped, and that would be worse than this. So, you
OMG.
don't need to think, man. It's just a little bit of Barbie magic, a little bit of Barbie perspective.
OMG.
The girls find the puppies who have just learned to surf, and the horse trainers decide to do them a huge solid and drive them to Chelsea's dance competition. This is great. Chelsea can make it to her dance competition. It's all gonna work out, baby. Wrong. Again. Dead wrong, actually.
The bridge is washed out.
Washed out? Stop saying that. What are you talking about? That is a solid stone bridge that has been annihilated. That is not a wooden rickety bridge. That is a government contracted piece of infrastructure that has been disintegrated by the weather. Dissolved by water and wind and God. Himself. Hawaii should be in a state of emergency right now. Where's the National Guard? And Barbie and her sister should be dead. They slept under a tree in a Category 6 hurricane. But guess what? It's all good. The horse trainers are nicer than Jesus because they let Barbie and her sisters take their horses, and they trust the
What the fuck?
riders, one of which is 7 years old, by the way, to scale over the gap of this destroyed
Oh, wow.
bridge. Gotta be like 20-foot gap with death below it. Even as the ground shows itself to be unstable, they are unfazed. And they met Barbie and her sisters yesterday. Either way, Barbie and her sisters riding horseback to make it to the competition. It's already started. Chelsea hasn't checked in. They get lost again. And this is where, finally, Barbie shows maybe a modicum of remorse by feeling sorry for herself and guilt-tripping her sisters until they try to make her feel better.
Just because you mess up doesn't mean you fail.
Yeah, Barbie. Yeah, no, we had fun hiking through the wilderness because you couldn't admit that you didn't know what the fuck you were doing. Now, the competition is happening already, and a girl named Lindsay is doing her routine, and is killing it, by the way. She's tap dancing while doing a handstand, and after she's finished, they give the last call for Chelsea to perform. They are quite literally about to hand this poor girl the trophy, and then the girls finally show up and beg to let Chelsea perform, and they're somehow willing to make an exception. And so Chelsea goes on stage to perform, and let's just say Chelsea does not do a good job. She's tripping over herself. She's very unsure of herself. It's almost as if her claims of needing to practice were well-founded. Isn't that interesting, Barbie? But then the baby horse comes up and starts dancing, and they change the music completely. And Chelsea is doing a new dance, seemingly by improv. And then Barbie chases one of the animals up there, and oh, okay, well, no, Barbie's joining in on the dance. No, that's cool, Barbie. Yeah, no, you join in on the dance too. Let's make Chelsea's moment about you. This is a dance competition. This has to be a disqualifying thing, is it not? Oh, no, Puppies and the rest of the sisters are on stage too. Cool. Why don't we all just start dancing? Let's just ignore the whole competition. Nothing matters at this point. The infrastructure on this island is probably burning to the ground right now. The horses are up there, puppies are dancing, and all four sisters. And when they're done, against her own best interest, Lindsay lets Chelsea win the whole fucking tournament.
Awesome, Chelsea. You totally deserve to win.
Like, this girl worked so hard for this and just gave it away to the insane people with dancing horses that were late. If I was Lindsay's parent, I would be like, Lindsay, what the fuck are you doing? Don't give it to them. And after all that, It ends with a celebratory dance scene. The end. If I had to give this movie a rating, it would be as follows. On Barbie, she is a completely irresponsible chaperone in this movie. She continuously makes choices that are against her own interest and chooses to ignore her sister's worries for her safety and comfort and her ability to have a solution, resulting in her and her sisters being stranded on an island with no cell service or shelter for 24 hours. I came to realize by the end of watching this film that Barbie was not the protagonist of this film, she was the antagonist. 0 out of 5. On story, this entire story was an inconvenience to watch. It was like traveling back and forth to the DMV and being told each time that you're missing an additional form that takes a week to process in their system. 0 out of 5. The moral was aimed at making the best out of a bad situation, but it came off more like ignore your problems until they're too big to ignore and you've ruined everything. 0 out of 5. The puppies are fine. They're ultimately useless, but also innocent victims in this entire story. 2 out of 5. Meaning that the total score for this Barbie movie is 2 out of 20. This is without a doubt the worst Barbie movie in the modern era of Barbie movies.
Yeah,
I watched
true.
8 Barbie movies today. Barbie and a Puppy Chase was one of the most shocking Barbie movies that I've ever seen in my entire life. Barbie became the most unreasonable, psychotic individual that I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah.
It's canon. The most illuminating aspects of this is what little care she has for her siblings, as if they were just... she could just make others. We are in the final stretch. There are 8 more Barbie movies for me to watch.
O kurwa, 8.
Unraveling a web that is
Ja już
more
zasypiam
shocking than
powoli.
anything I've seen in my adult life.
Masakra.
I need to go sleep. I don't know how that keeps ending up there. Things are getting out of control. I'm losing my mind. But I'm gonna make this work.
Spoko, jeszcze niby
Barbie's an
20
action.
minut.
These are the canon ones and they have the most confusing.
Damy radę.
Barbie and her sisters in the Great Puppy Adventure, we get so much lore on Barbie's past. We got Barbie's hometown of Willows, Wisconsin. In this movie, we see like a home video of Barbie winning a science contest when she was like 10 or 11, meaning she's good at science. We meet Grandma Roberts for the first time, further expanding Barbie's extended family. And when looking at old photos in her attic, it seems like Grandma Roberts got up to some things in her youth as well.
Have you been, like, everywhere?
Your grandfather and I always loved a good adventure.
We also get a glimpse at Grandpa Roberts, who apparently passed away before the shooting of this film. A little bit convenient if you ask me, by the way. In Barbie's Spy Squad, she's a gymnast. She's also a trained spy now. Also, we've got a new friend she's got named Renee, and also Teresa from Fashion Fairy Tale shows back up. So Starlight Adventure is where I ran into some problems, though, because, well, there's actually a few problems that I ran into because of this movie. Barbie's playing herself in this film. She's also in fucking space. And as I've mentioned, she can use the Force. She lives on a planet called Paradin, which bears very close similarity to the continents of Earth. I mean, this is a photo of what the planet, that looks like North and South America. But despite that, occurs in a world where spacefaring travel is common, and at a point where the stars are just going out. They're just going kaput. Also, there is this man who is allegedly her father in this film, and that's the first time that we've gotten a dad. This is the first time that we're seeing a parent of Barbie, and it's a space dad? Yeah, okay. Sure. Yeah, no, this is definitely Barbie's dad. Give me a break. I don't know what to do with this movie, but I got some serious theories brewing from it. And I don't think that you guys are prepared for what this is turning out to be, because I was. So with all that lore locked in, let's continue to the final stretch of Barbie.
Today is day 5 of watching every Barbie movie ever made. The characters in these Barbie films are invading my dreams. I sort of feel like Vsauce in that one video where he puts himself in complete isolation for 72 hours, because very often I'm waking up in the morning and I'm confused. So with all that being said, let's just finish the job and watch the final 8 Barbie movies. God help us all.
No. Oh. Okej. Zobaczyłem tego Kena w tle.
What the fuck is happening? I don't even know anymore. Okay, Barbie's a video game developer now. She's making a new video game. She gets magically pulled
Ta używa Scratcha? Scratch. Ja, Scratcha. Pokaż mi to. No.
Okay, Barbie's a video game developer now. She's making a new video game.
Ach, Boże.
She gets magically pulled into a video game and has to beat every level.
Aha.
There's a computer virus that has infected the game. The virus is just like made of emojis. It was really hard to watch. All the levels are different video game worlds. I mean, watching this felt like I was on a bad LSD trip while my body decomposes in a shady back alley. There's like a Minecraft portion. Barbie makes a nether portal. And what makes everything so much worse is the final challenge is to win a game of Just Dance. And not like a knockoff. It's the game Just Dance. Just Dance is canon in Barbie. She wins in the end, I don't know, for like 1 out of 5. Barbie, she gets like a 3 out of 5. The sidekick is a cloud who speaks in rhymes. I don't like him either, 2 out of 5. And they don't give a quote for the moral again, but I'm 90% sure the moral was to purchase Just Dance.
Do you know what's even more awesome? What? Just Dance. Wanna have some fun?
So that gets a 0 out of 5. Overall, Video Game Hero gets a 6 out of 20.
I don't know what I just watched, but next up is Barbie Dolphin Magic. Here we go.
In this movie, Barbie and her sisters are visiting a tropical island where Ken is doing a marine biology internship. Basically, the whole story is you've got these rare dolphins that got captured. Barbie meets a mermaid that is friends with them and wants to save them. Also, unfortunately, making mermaids canon in Barbie. Ken's boss is evil and wants to sell the dolphins for money. She's a piece of shit. I don't know.
She's hot.
In the end, it was like a 2 out of 5
Nawet.
for me. Barbie gets a 4 out of 5 for her marine conservation efforts. Good on you, Barb. The sidekicks are the puppies again. I'm getting really sick of these puppies. 1 out of 5. And we keep getting the same quote for the moral at the end, so I'm just going to assume the moral is to not be a poacher, which is 5 out of 5. Overall, Dolphin Magic gets a 12 out of 20.
Next up is Barbie Princess Adventures. Let's adventure.
In this movie, Barbie's an influencer now. She's trying to take my job, which I don't appreciate. Also, Barbie's got parents now, and after
Ma kurwa 4 monitory, pojebana.
this was a crazy revelation.
Ona wie co z nimi zrobić?
School doing an exchange with a kingdom somewhere.
Sorry. Wyszedł ze mnie seksista jebany. Przepraszam. Chyba za bardzo śpiący jestem. Nie myślę racjonalnie. Co jest? Dokładnie, Albert, dokładnie.
And the princess there looks just like Barbie. And you guess what happens? They do a little switcheroo.
Ja pierdolę. Tu już nawet nie... Tu już nawet nic nie zmienili. Wygląda po prostu kopię w klej. Żadnych zmian, nic. Ta sama fryzura, kurwa, ten sam kolor. Wszystko to samo. W poprzednich filmach przynajmniej się starali. Ja pierdolę. Co to jest? Co ja widzę? O, kurwa.
Shouldn't do that, man. It literally never works out. This movie is super basic. I feel like I've seen this 1,000 times already. But what I had never seen was a song sung by Ken's friend Trey on why he should be king of the kingdom, and needless to say, it melted my brain.
King of the kingdom, dum, dum, dum. King of the kingdom, dum, dum, dum.
Mam tą samą reakcję, kurwa, co on? Co to jest, kurwa?
So Story gets a 2 out of 5. Barbie does something really dumb where she's pretending to be the princess, but she gets caught because she's still wearing her necklace that says Barbie on it, so 3 out of 5 for that little mistake. Sidekick is the same dog as before, 0 out of 5. And the moral is life doesn't happen on camera. Life is what happens when the cameras are off, and I think this is a good moral for a 20s Barbie movie, so 4 out of 5. Overall, Barbie Princess Adventure gets a 9 out of 20.
We got a Chelsea movie.
Okay.
It's Chelsea Lost Birthday. Here we go.
This movie's a rough one too, and it's so forgettable that it's silly that I'm even talking about it, but I have to. Basically, Barbie and the Roberts family go on a cruise, and they cross the international date line, so it skips Chelsea's birthday. So she goes on like a whole journey to save her birthday. She was like sliding down rainbows and talking to animals, and it really got me worried for the lore stuff, to be honest. But in the end, it was a dream, so that was a relief. They also did the flossing dance, which was a mistake.
Oh, Boże.
1 out of 5. For Barbie, this movie wasn't
Ja
even really
pierdolę.
about Barbie. It was a Chelsea-focused movie, but she was absolutely giving me vibes from the time they were in Hawaii, so 1 out of 5. For sidekicks, I suppose the sidekicks are the dream creatures that Chelsea conjured up, so I'd give them a 3 out of 5. And there is no moral to this story. You couldn't convince me there was if you tried. 0 out of 5. So Chelsea's Lost Birthday gets a 5 out of 20.
Next up is Barbie Big City, Big Dreams. Let's do this.
In this movie, Barbie moves to New York City for an art summer program because she wants to be a Broadway star now. And this movie is significant because we're actually introduced to a new character also named Barbie, Barbie Brooklyn Roberts.
We have the same name?
They're adventuring around New York City. Brooklyn absolutely eats shit
Okay.
because Malibu Barbie knocked into her. There's some drama.
Okay.
I don't know, it's pretty okay. I'd give it a 4 out of 5. I'd say both Barbies are pretty good in this too. They managed to work out their drama in the end, and I'd give them both a 4 out of 5. No sidekicks in this. It's BS, I know, so 0 out of 5. And with no quote, I'd say this movie is about not totally being focused on winning, but rather improving alongside your peers and lifting up everyone around you. So 5 out of 5. Overall, Big City, Big Dreams gets a 13 out of 20.
So
Nie
I
tak źle.
watched the rest of the Barbie movies and I fell asleep last night. I have 3 more Barbie movies to watch and then I finish. I've watched every Barbie movie ever made. I'm not done yet though. So here we go, folks. The final Barbie movies. I thought I was going to be able to do it in 4, but
The final battle.
Here we are.
We've got another mermaid story, baby, but this time it's a canon
Oh,
mermaid
wow.
story. So it's Malibu Barbie, Brooklyn Barbie, and the sisters on an adventure with their old mermaid friend from that other movie where they compete to be some sort of power keeper. They all get to be mermaids. Everyone's a mermaid. Great. Also, that poacher lady from the other movie is back, and she's like twice as psycho as before, and she's trying to prove mermaids are real, and all the science community thinks that she's an idiot. I'd probably give this story a 3 out of 5. For Barbie, I'd give him a 2 out of 5. Don't question me. We're so close to the end here. For sidekicks, there are like fish they talk to. There's no real sidekicks. 1 out of 5. And the moral is something about learning to find your inner power. I think I'd give it like a 3 out of 5. So Mermaid Power gets a 9 out of 20. The second to last Barbie movie.
Ale speedrun.
Epic Road Trip. Let's do it. Barbie Epic Road Trip was probably the last thing I wanted to run into on my last day watching every Barbie. They couldn't just let me chill out, turn my brain off, and relax. No, they had to give me choice. Because this Netflix Barbie movie required me to make decisions. It's a choose-your-own-adventure Barbie movie.
O kurwa.
Choose. Okay, fine. Dreams, Ken. It's basically about Malibu Barbie, Brooklyn Barbie, Ken, and the 3 sisters going on a road trip.
Ja pierdolę. Jak się nazywa ta Netflixowa ta? Netflix Interactive Specials. Where is it? Yeah, Bandersnatch. Kurwa, Bandersnatcha zrobili, kurwa, z Barbie. Ja pierdolę. To musiało być 2022. Ja pierdolę. Bandersnatcha zrobili z tego.
Adopted dogs from Skipper's silly little
Pojebało.
There's a lot of convoluted lore. Apparently at some point Barbie and Ken went back to being friends and now they've got like tension again. Also, I accidentally made the wrong choice at one point and I got Barbie abducted by aliens and lost. I lost the movie. Like I failed the movie. They reset me at the beginning, so I had to restart. I guess it was cool. I don't want to tell the story for you, Barbie, though. Make your own decisions. 1 out of 5. Barbie literally cannot make her own decisions in this, so 2 out of 5 for that. The sidekicks are like a bunch of dogs that are about to get adopted. I don't know. This era kind of sucks for sidekicks, and it's been bumming me out, so 0 out of 5. Moral? Good question. I could not tell you. The viewer makes the decisions. Maybe the moral is not even fictional characters know what they're doing, and perhaps that's comforting. 3 out of 5. So the second to last movie, Epic Road Trip, gets a 6 out of 20. The final Barbie movie, Skipper and the Big Babysitting Adventure. Let's do this thing. Okay, it's the last Barbie movie, and it's not even about her. It's about Skipper, the gaming sister.
Z tamtego roku.
Babysitting business. Something about a theme park. Something about a gaming bus. Skipper wins in the end. It doesn't matter. I don't even care. I don't even care because I've done it. I've watched them all. 4 out of 5 for all I care. And this story isn't even about Barbie because Barbie's off doing some liberal shit, planting trees in the Amazon like a nerd. Like that's literally what she's doing in this story. So 2 out of 5. For sidekicks, none. 0 out of 5. Fuck them. Who needs them? Moral? I don't know. Okay, I don't know what they're trying to teach me. Maybe how to be a babysitter. Who knows? Leave me alone. 1 out of 5. Overall, the last animated Barbie movie gets a 7 out of 20, and I'm done. I'm done.
Yeah.
I've done it. I've done it.
Gratulacje.
All right. Here's the lore we learned from the final Barbie movie. In Barbie Video Game Hero, as I've mentioned, Just Dance is canon. I've got no idea why they would do this. Money? Maybe money. Really makes things kind of confusing for me, too. Like this is all just a joke. Newsflash, it's not. Do you see how much work I put into this? It's not a joke. This is my Afghanistan, and I'm invading Barbieville. For oil! So anyways, Barbie also adds coding. She's a game developer to her list of proficiencies with this movie. In Barbie Dolphin Magic, guess what? Boom, look at that. Mermaids are canon in the BCU. Why not? I'd also like to highlight an interesting phrase that Chelsea says in this film.
I'm just really sick of hand-me-downs.
Barbie and her sisters live in a house in Malibu. They're able to do whatever they want, fly wherever they want, travel the world. So why in the world would hand-me-downs be even a notion that the Roberts are familiar with. Unless it was for a different reason. In Princess Adventure, we got so much additional lore that it stressed me out a bit, but here we go. Social media influencer gets added to Barbie's list of proficiency. Next up, this is a weird one for me. Barbie's mom and dad are introduced into the canon lore. And her dad, George Roberts, who unsurprisingly looks totally different than her dad in Starlight Adventure. I don't think this is her dad. We also get a slew of side characters that are added to Barbie's network of associates. I got no goddamn idea who these people are. But most notably, a princess that looks identical to Barbie. But unlike something like Princess and the Pauper, which is a fictional movie that occurs within the canon universe of the BCU, this is a real person within canon that looks identical to Barbie. In Barbie Big City Big Dreams, she adds performer to her list of proficiencies. And we're also introduced to Barbie Brooklyn Roberts for the first time. Barbie Epic Road Trip is kind of a confusing one, as I'm unsure if it satisfies the qualifications for a canon movie. The decisions made in the movie are done by the viewer because it's a choose-your-own-adventure Netflix special. And there's multiple different endings. And while Barbie is playing herself in this film, the decisions that she makes are not hers. So I think I'm gonna make a rare executive decision to determine that this movie, Barbie Epic Road Trip, is not canon. I ain't even putting this shit on the board. And finally, in Barbie Skipper and the Big Babysitting Adventure, Barbie's in the Amazon playing trees. She's not even present, really, in this movie. But she went there, and that's canon. So with all the lore here laid out and finally covered, I can finally develop my theory on the true lore of Barbie. Wish me luck. I'd finished my task, watched every single Barbie movie. It felt like my mind was about to burst. Over 40 hours of Barbie films were rattling around in my brain, and I still hadn't solved it. What was Barbie's secret? How was she so proficient at so many skills? Achieving so much, traveling so much of the world, and doing it all before she could legally drink a beer? It just didn't add up. It didn't make sense. An accomplished actress, director, horse rider, coder, philanthropist, performer, influencer, gymnast, trained spy, who's rich, famous, and completely morally sound? In a world of magic, fairies, space travel, and absolute monarchies? And what's worse is that it all comes back to Kelly. Where did she go? Is she alive? Is she dead? Did she ever exist at all? There were so many strings to the Roberts family wrapped around the globe. Kelly, then Chelsea, Stacy, Skipper, George, Margaret, Millicent, Marlene, even Grandma and Grandpa Roberts. None of their stories added up. Until they did. I've seen many theories online as to what Barbie might be in the lore of the BCU. I've seen talk that she's immortal, that she's a vampire, but none of these things quite click with me. Except for one, and you're gonna need to let me explain this. Barbie is a genetically modified clone that operates within a larger decentralized hive mind to achieve a goal across thousands, potentially millions of years. And I know what you think, please let me explain. In order for Barbie to be able to attain as much knowledge and skill as she does, she can't be operating as an individual creature. She needs to be operating as part of a larger decentralized hive mind that can still be considered a single organism. Barbie. Barbie's immediate family unit of 4 sisters is a means to train and grow more Barbies. You're not seeing a group of 4 sisters, you're seeing the growth cycle of a series of Barbie clones being trained. That's why it's a decentralized hive mind, as each member maintains some level of autonomy while still operating within a system. You start with Chelsea or Kelly, learning the initial ideals of what it means to be a Barbie. Eventually upgrading to Stacy, where new skills such as sports and other activities can be learned. Then you move on to Skipper, where science and other technology is further emphasized. And eventually, a clone will become a Barbie. Of course, you can't stop the process of aging, and while it appears each Barbie clone ages slower than the average human, eventually they have to move on to their next responsibility, which is to go to ground for several years and re-emerge as an aunt, one that is specifically proficient in certain tasks. Another option is becoming Barbie's mom. And then when those Barbie clones get older, they retire into the position of Grandma Roberts. This explains why in the earlier Barbie films, we see Stacy looking much older than she does in the later Barbie films. She's about to move on to the next stage of growth. In Fashion Fairy Tale, we meet Aunt Millicent. This older clone has settled down in Paris, France, and helps growing clones learn about fashion design. We meet another age Barbie clone, Aunt Marlene, in Barbie and Her Sisters in a Ponytail, who teaches the younger Roberts clones about horseback riding. This would later come into play in Puppy Chase, as their skills in horseback riding allowed them to achieve their goals. In Great Puppy Adventure, we meet Grandma Roberts, a very old Barbie clone, and we see evidence in her attic of her being a younger Barbie clone. Just to be expected from a retired Barbie clone. Barbie's behavior in Puppy Chase was terrible, as we know, but it could be explained if you recontextualize it as the leader of a group group of trainees where she's placing them in situations where she's testing their skills and aptitude. It's almost if she intentionally let the puppies go free, knowing that it would place the younger sisters in a boot camp type scenario where their survival skills would be tested for the sake of the cause. Even in Barbie Princess Adventure, we see two Barbie clones directly interacting with Barbie and Amelia. Even in Barbie Dolphin Magic, Chelsea complains about hand-me-down. But as we know, the Roberts are incredibly wealthy, travel the world all the time, and have a house in Malibu. What reason would they have for hand-me-downs unless there was an expectation for each sister within the family unit to dress within a certain wardrobe? And this brings me to Kelly's disappearance. What happened to her? Why was she replaced with Chelsea? Kelly was a failed Barbie clone and wasn't able to adhere to the strict guidelines of her training. In Nutcracker, Rapunzel, Swan Lake, and Christmas Carol, Kelly consistently had difficulty performing the activities she was doing with Barbie. And I think this frustrated Barbie, and eventually Kelly was removed from the cluster. I think that Kelly is dead. So where does Ken exist in all of this? I mean, he's been in a lot of the movies. Ken's probably another clone of some sort. Possibly a creature bred purely to be a thrall in the Barbie clone hive mind. This would explain why Kens don't have the same strict adherence to features as Barbie's. It would also explain the existence of Barbie's dad in Starlight Adventure, as I have an inkling that her dad is just an aged Ken that has been tasked with chaperoning her until she can achieve her larger goal. So what is the Barbie clone hive mind's purpose? I mean, why put up this front of pretending to be a single person? What's the deal with that noise? In order to achieve its goals, Barbie needs capital. And she does so by maintaining a picture-perfect movie persona in order to fund the wealth that can be then invested back into the hive mind. And in order to do that, they need to fly under the radar of the larger human population. You think that Barbie was being an idiot by donating those hundreds of millions of dollars worth of gold back to the town of Willows, Wisconsin? Really? Of course she'd do that! The hive mind owns that fucking town! That was probably a stash the hive mind buried there years ago before it had a solid alibi for its wealth! The hive mind's purpose appears to be becoming proficient at skills and promoting its morals and lifestyle. As Barbie continues on its journey, it gains more and more knowledge and information, getting it closer to you.
Yeah.
Enlightening it. That's what the morals serve as, a means to teach her clones more about achieving its view of perfection. And this is why the final Barbie movie, in the true continuity of its lore, is Barbie Starlight Adventure. This is a world where humanity is expanded into the stars. And yet Barbie has remained. And while this Barbie has very little knowledge about her previous clones or hive mind not knowing her mother, we can see the evidence of potentially thousands of years of knowledge the hive mind has collected. Because she can use the Force. And at the end of the movie, she travels to the center of the universe to complete the task the hive mind had set out long ago to complete, to reignite the universe in Barbie's own image, becoming a cosmic princess and ascending to godhood.
Wow.
Oh.
Holy shit.
So there you have it. You're welcome, by the way. The true lore of Barbie.
Wow.
So here we are, this many days after I finished watching every Barbie movie ever made. It is now time for the final boss. It was mentally exhausting, but I will now be walking into that theater with a complete and full understanding of Barbie lore. I'm not getting laughed out of the theater with this on, because people are gonna see me and they're gonna say, that guy knows what he's doing. That guy knows a thing or two about Barbie lore, and they'll be right. And I will be walking out of that theater to be the greatest expert on Barbie movies to ever walk the earth. So I'm gonna leave right now to watch my final Barbie movie, and I'll see if this was all worth it.
Niecała minuta, no. Mhm. Mhm.
It wasn't worth it. It absolutely wasn't. None of my theories added up at all. In fact, it was barely related. How did I not see this coming? Decentralized clone hive mind. Why did I think they would make a movie about that? What's worse is I kept whispering, asking when the clones would show up. Oh, God. I done all this work. I done all this research. All that time, all those movies. What the fuck was I even thinking?
Piękne zakończenie, piękne. I love that. Pay for this content, it was a masterpiece. Yeah. Back in town. That's it, calm. O kurwa. A Fairy Secret? Które to kurwa było? Szukajmy. A Fairy Secret. To, tak? Aha.
Themes, there's Pega ponies, which are apparently distinct from Pegasus. Ken has to fight a
11/20. Criminal offense, okej. Myślę, how many of the classic Barbie movies... To też true. More Barbie life in the dream house. O! Czyli tak. Barbie Dream House. To może będzie aktualizacja przez komentarze tego wszystkiego. No kurwa, zobaczymy. Zobaczymy. Szczerze, I'm looking forward to it. Jeśli Ted by zrobił aktualizację z Barbie Dream House, to ja to chętnie obejrzę. Bo w sumie fajnie zrobił ten film. Super. Psycha siada, pojebane to jest, fuj. Ale kurwa fajne. Nawet. Dobra, jest 23. Zrobiliśmy unboxing. Oglądaliśmy Barbie. Ja lecę spać. Widzimy się jutro. Nie wiem dokładnie o której, niestety. Nie wiem też na jak długo. Ale no, widzimy się jutro. Coś może pogramy w Dark Messiah, coś popracujemy nad grą, może, nie wiem. I zobaczymy jeszcze, jak będzie, czy coś się uda z laptopem ogarnąć i z Fedorką. Także no, widzimy się jutro, trzymajcie się, dobrej nocy, dzięki za wpadnięcie, obejrzenie i tym podobne. Alberto, trzymaj się, dzięki, że byłeś, dzięki, że zostałeś do końca. I do następnego. Na razie, pozdrowionka. Pozdrowionka Giga Czadzie. Na razie.